Hello everyone, I all hope you had a very wonderful weekend, a very blessed weekend. As you can see, guys, I'm gonna be reshooting the episode that I exactly did on last week Friday for my other viewers who are exactly watching the full episode, not exactly the half of it, but the completely full episode. I hope today it will download, guys. I hope completely it will download, guys. So today we're talking about the we exactly refilming the episode that I exactly discussed with you on Friday, the Universal Monster Heroes. I'll exactly try to change it and trying to change it into a different episode in its little aspects for some of you who quite already know exactly what's going on. But don't worry, guys, I'm exactly refilming the episode today about the Universal Monster Heroes, and I'm exactly willing to continue. Despite this, guys, I appreciate and love your support no matter what in viewing my episodes and everything else. I literally am grateful for your support and your support in viewing and watching my episode. It means a lot to me. And can you also please do me one little tiny bit? Can you also please subscribe to my channel? Would also greatly mean a lot to me. Completely would mean a lot to me. But as always, guys, I'm grateful for your support in viewing my episode. Always means a lot to me. So let's begin. The Universal Monster Heroes were formed in the early years by Dan when Dan was exactly at the Universal asteroid at the United Heroes asteroid base when he was exactly speaking with United Men, telling him that he exactly needs to form a secret covert team of superheroes that'll be able to exactly help the Four Nation Hunters in fighting against the monsters that come from the Dark Dimension. And United Men exactly agreed with him, telling him that it is exactly what they need right now, especially with the Universal Heroes being formed up in fighting against the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and all the other sinister threats and forces. The Universal Monster Heroes could also act as a sacred covert team of superheroes dedicated with the mission of restoring sacred peace and sacred balance to the sacred world, which Dan exactly shook hands with United Man, telling him that in due time, during the sacred galactic war, they'll be able to exactly cross paths and they'll exactly assist each other on the various missions, on the various goals and missions as well in maintaining sacred peace and also restoring justice and balance to the sacred world and to the sacred world and to the sacred universe and to the known universe. And United Men quietly, gratefully agreed that they will exactly cross paths in a long journey of their missions in restoring peace and justice to the sacred universe and to the known universe by any means necessary, which Dan quietly agreed. Dan exactly extended invitations to other magical beings and to other ancient beings and powerful beings who are exactly able to join up to becoming members of the Universal Monster Heroes. The first member was a Light Witch. The second member was a light druid. The third member was a light seeker. And the last member was a Four-Nation hunter. In doing so, these members will becoming the members of the founding members of the Monster Heroes, which Dan was greatly able to extend invitations to them. Dan exactly appreciate their expertise, their talents, their abilities to the group, and as well as a genius level headed abilities, and as well as a martial artist, their skill sets, their talents, and their expertise and abilities adding to the group of the Monster Heroes, as well as their ingenious ideas. Dan is a leader of the Monster Heroes, and his leadership is quietly great than anything else as he leads his team through greatness and through great respect and through traumatic respect over for the following centuries and for the following years, despite this, guys. So Dan and the members of the Monster Heroes began their first mission and their first assignment in learning that there's a powerful, sinister warlord known as Warlord Power, who's on a very, very devil, who's on a very, very destructive ambition to ruling, placing planet Earth under his sole control and under his sole ruling, and by any means necessary, he's willing to conquer planet Earth for his new big bad boss known as the New Little Magic and his new ancient secret society of supervillains known as the Order of Power. If you guys exactly get to know that. During at the original time when the original Little Magic was in power and everything else, Dan and members of the Monster Heroes they started their mission investigating seeing a dying planet that's quite already dying and already dead. They were able to exactly return to the planet's surface, able to greet the inhabitants, able to exactly see, able to question them, able to ask the inhabitants a question what happened to the planet's environment and as well to its atmosphere. They said that it was a powerful, huge dark magic ball of dark magic, and that the dark magic ball was quietly activated by a huge dark machine, and that the were powerful, sinister dark magic users known as the Dark Druids, the Dark Witches, and the Dark Faithful, who are behind this destruction and this loss of destruction and death over the planets losing its energy and source life support. Dan was quietly shocked and very, very quietly devastated that the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful are abusing their dark powers and their abilities into extracting shadow energy and magical energy and life source throughout other planets and other worlds, and then harvesting energies throughout other worlds and other planets. He decided in order to exactly restore life and to restore the energy back to its natural, to restore the planet back to its natural habitats, with the Light Witch and the Light Seeker and the Light Druid. Dan began conducting a magical ritual that can exactly restore the planet back to its natural state, which was successfully able to do so. The planet was quietly restored to its natural state. The crystal were quietly regenerated back to their glowing natural state, with all the powers and with all the energy in the planet and the environment was restored to its natural state, and the life source of the planet began blooming again as ever it was. And Dan exactly asked the inhabitants of the planet if they can exactly make this world as a central headquarters in order for them to exactly operate from. The inhabitants successfully agreed that their services are exactly needed, and their services will be forever be acquired for their long-term missions and for their long-term goal. And Dan was successfully very impressed and very happy that the inhabitants successfully agreed that they'll use this planet as a central headquarters for them to maintain the usual basis of operation. The Universal Monster Heroes maintain the usual basis of operation, such as a central headquarters for them to operate from, which meaning that they exactly revived the dying planet that was quietly dying and extracted of all its shadow energy and all its magic source and all of its crystals by using that planet as a central headquarters in order for them to successfully operate from. During at that time, Dan exactly began mapping out the destroyed worlds, and destructive planets at that time in order to successfully understand exactly what the enemy's goal and plan is exactly up to. In that time, the Light Witch conducted, they should exactly investigate other worlds and other planets and other civilizations, especially the Intergalactic Coalition headquarters and base of operation, which Dan successfully agreed on that matter, saying it is the wise decision. They were able to arrive on the Intergalactic Coalition's headquarters that were quietly abandoned on the 1st of February. Able to see there was nothing quietly going on, but unaware that there was an ambush quietly planned out for them in order for them to be killed on sight, effective and immediately. And then 2 minutes later, the Power Assassins appeared from the shadows, each assassin and another supervillain and another dark druid and another dark witch and another dark faithful appeared out of nowhere with destructive technology at their disposal, and stating to them that their new masters want the Universal Monster Heroes wiped out completely and out of the way. The Power Assassins work on the behalf of the Order of Power, working on the behalf of the New Lunar Magic's ancient secret society known as the Order of Power, with they furthering their goals and their plans as well. Since then, Dan realized that they were quietly set up and they were quietly ambushed, that these power assassins and these supervillains were willing to just take them out and were willing to kill them on sight. Dan exactly ordered his troops in order to move on to taking on the villains and to taking on the bad guys. The battle lasted about a 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so. In order for them, they were easily able to overpower the enemies and the bad guys as well, able to keep them down and able to successfully neutralizing them. In doing so, they sent the bad guys and some of the other villains straightly into the Astral Prison, a prison designed in order to hold powerful, deadly, dark magic users known as the Dark Druids, the Dark Witches, the Dark Faithful, and also the Dark Seekers, and also the Seconds, and also the Shadow Empire Warlords and Commanders and Rogue Heroes and Rogue Supervillains as well, dedicated to holding supervillains and rogue superheroes and other powerful dark magic users and corrupt Shadow Empire warlords and commanders and rogue alien warlords and leaders as well. They were essentially straight into the Astral Prison, and they will quietly remain there in custody of the Astral Prison at that time. Dan exactly decided to use the space of operation as a decided to use the Intergalactic Coalition's base of operations as his next base of operations in order for him to exactly investigate exactly what was happening. At that time, the members of the Intergalactic Coalition exactly appeared to him on the 2nd of February, stating that the newly developed magic has corrupted the Intergalactic Coalition Council, and the rest of the Intergalactic Coalition Council has become compromised. Dan exactly reassured the members of the Intergalactic Coalition that the Universal Monster Heroes will do all that they can in their abilities and power to take down the newly developed magic and his new ancient sixes and his new deadly organization known as the Order of Power and its forces and its operatives by any means necessary. Even if the Intergalactic Coalition is already compromised, they will exactly still working forward with them in order to take down the mole and the spy within the Intergalactic Coalition. And the member of the Intergalactic Coalition quietly stating that the Intergalactic Coalition would exactly help them with Universal Monsters in their mission and in their goal to liberating many worlds and many planets from the Shadow Empire's control as by any means necessary. During at that time, the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders lost many worlds and many civilizations under their control. They lost many worlds as the Intergalactic Coalition manages to liberate thousands of worlds and thousands of civilizations that are under the control of the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders. The Universal Monster Heroes were gradually placed that they were able to aid and assist them in destroying the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful and the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful during the battle that happened. That exactly happened on the 10th of February. The battle exactly took place on the 10th of February as they were successfully able to neutralize and successfully overpower the enemy and able to take them down. Some of the enemy were able to teleport away. The other warships and battle cruisers were able to straightly hit to hyperdrive, able to exactly hit straightly to hyperdrive and escape. The battle cruisers and warships, some of them were all decimated, as well as the Intergalactic Coalition's battle cruisers and warships that were also all decimated during at that time of the battle. But the Universal Monster Heroes exactly told the Intergalactic Coalition members that they will remain persistent and they'll remain ambitious in order to stopping the enemy and their power and their hunger for conquering many more worlds and many more civilizations. The Intergalactic Coalition Leader Council told Dan, the leader of the Universal Monster Heroes, that the Star Empire and the Shadow Empire are at war with each other for sole dominance over the sacred universe and over the sacred world, and they're willing to conquer. They're willing to conquer all worlds and all universes and place them under their sole control. Universal Dan exactly was quite the extort as he told the Intergalactic Coalition member that they have their own mission and their own assignments, but they'll do all they can in order to cripple the Shadow Empire's control and power throughout them. They'll do all they can in their power to cripple the Shadow Empire, the Shadow Empire's operations and control over many worlds and many civilizations. That's the best they can exactly do in order to slow down the Shadow Empire's growing power and also effective change by any means necessary, which they were successfully able to take, and stating that the Intergalactic Coalition will help the Universal Monsters in any way they can, and will continue doing so by acting as their backup allies no matter what. So did Dan exactly able to exactly say so. On the 14th of February, Dan was able to look into the archives to learn more about Warlord Power, about his plans and ambition for the known universe and also for the galaxy and also for planet Earth, as he discovered as he discovered that Warlord Power wanted to enslave humanity and the rest of the supernatural community and aliens and superhuman race and placing them under their control in order to wipe them out and fully creating an extinction event that could place the sole dominance of the new normal magic's kind and the rest of his species to becoming the sole rulers of the cosmos and the rest of the sole rulers of the cosmos and of the universe. Dan and the members of the Monsters became distraught that they have to cripple the Shadow Empire's operation and as well their operations and their plans no matter what. Dan was able to successfully help the other alien worlds and the other inhabitable alien worlds and planets successfully fighting against the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders on the 15th of February, able to successfully rid those worlds from the Shadow Empire's control and inhabitants as the other alien worlds and other alien civilizations stated shook hands with Dan, telling him that they'll exactly become allies of the Intergalactic Coalition and they'll exactly aid them in stopping taking down the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders in their plans as well in their goals. But the inhabitants of the other worlds and civilization told Dan and exactly warn Dan that the other alien empires and warlords and commanders were as well seeking opportunities to conquer worlds and civilizations for their own goals and for their own ambition. Dan exactly told the inhabitants that they got the situation under control, and they exactly appreciate their warnings as their warnings, as well as their warnings and everything else in order to take care of other sinister threats and sinister enemies by any and all means necessary, which they were successfully able to do. On the 1st of March, Dan was able to meet up with Universal Man, telling him that there are new threats quietly growing within the shadows. But Universal Man told him that the Universal Earth heroes are quietly occupied fighting other sinister villains and other sinister threats, fighting the Universal Magic's forces as they can exactly, with their resources quietly spread to then the Universal Monsters will help the Formation Hunter banish the monsters that come from the Dark Dimension in order to banish them, in order to destroy them that come from the Dark Dimension, and also to purposely remove them out of the way completely. Dan quietly agreed that the Universal Monsters will aid the Formation Hunters in destroying the monsters from the Dark Dimension, will purposely vanquish them and banish them back from the Dark Dimension by any means necessary. And Dan also told Universal Man that the threat of warlord power is rising slowly within the shadows of the sacred world, and within the shadows of the sacred world, and within the rest of existence, meaning he's growing in power and he's willing to exactly dominate his presence throughout planet Earth and throughout the rest of humanity. Universal Man told him that the Universal Earth heroes will be at the disposal of the Universal Monsters by any means necessary in order to help them stopping this threat, and also as well as these forces, but they'll have each other's backs no matter what. Dan was quietly happy with that and was successfully quietly pleased with that, meaning that they'll have each other's backs no matter what. On the 3rd of March, Dan and the members of the Monster Heroes continuing their liberation work and their mission in crippling the Shadow Empire warlords' operations, and as well their plans from conquering many worlds and many civilizations as possible, able to completely destroy the factories of the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders on other worlds and other civilization, crippling their operations as well as their bigger plans. One another Shadow Empire warlord and commander successfully able to teleport away and was successfully able to exactly move away. Dan was able to capture all of the other Empire warlords commanders and was able to ask them a question: who are they exactly they're working for? All they said they're working for the Order of Power and for the Dark Order, meaning their new leader is Red Bolt. Remember Red Bolt, who's a founder leader of the Dark Order, who is now the current leader of the Shadow Empire, who's now currently waging war with the Star Empire, with the Star Witch Queen and with the Star Prince. So just remember that, guys. He's a founder and leader of the Dark Order, an ancient secret society of supervillains dedicated in ruling and conquering other worlds and other civilization and placing planet Earth under their sole control, no matter what, by any means necessary. In doing so, Dan was quietly, reluctantly surprised that Red Bolt is now the current leader of the Shadow Empire, meaning that they'll have to do everything else in their power to cripple Red Bolt's operation and as well as a plan. He told the members of the Intergalactic Coalition Scouts to take these Shadow Empire warlords commanders straightly into the Astral Prison and to remain straightly into the Astral Prison. Dan and the members of the Universal Monsters were able to arrive at an ancient temple where the Light Witch was able to perform her magical ritual, and aware that they were being watched by another powerful, formidable Dark Seeker who was quietly monitoring them. The Light Witch was able to use her light magic in order to restore the temple back to its righteous glory and to its rightful power, telling Dan that this temple will be the next base of operations as well as a base of operation for them to operate from and to learn from anything else. While the Formation Hunter was well aware that they were being watched, the Formation Hunter quickly used super speed in order to take care of the Dark Seeker that was quietly watching them, and told the Dark Seeker exactly why was he quietly watching them. The Dark Seeker told them that the Dark Seekers are quietly working for Sacred 5, another ancient secret society of supervillains that is quietly founded and led by Icewall, who's a supervillain with a mission and a goal to wipe out the supernaturals and the aliens and the superhumans of the Sacred World once and for all, and with a mission and a goal from conquering other worlds and other civilization, and also turning them into freezing them into ice worlds, turning them into ice worlds and into ice planets by any means necessary. The Dark Seeker Dan was quietly surprised that the Dark Seeker was quietly helping them and was quietly aiding them with their respective missions, stating that this is a very interesting mission. And the Dark Seeker also told them that the Ice Creature is leading a huge fleet of warships and battle cruisers straightly across space in order to conquer many worlds and other civilization throughout the known galaxy, throughout the known universe, and throughout conquering known worlds and known civilization of the Intergalactic Coalition's worlds and outposts by any means necessary. The Dark Seeker was able to quickly teleport away successfully. Dan was quietly reluctantly pleased, stating that they will have to exactly stop the Ice Creature's plans effective immediately by any means necessary. On the 1st of April, Dan and the members, the other inhabitant alien races began launching their battle cruisers and warships straightly against the ice creatures' battle cruisers and warships, able to successfully taking it down. Dan teleported himself straightly directly into the ice creature's chamber in order to battle the ice creature. The ice creature was able to use his ice powers and his abilities, while the other members of the monster heroes continue battling against the ice creature's forces and their battle cruisers and their warships across the stars. And all the battleships and battle cruisers rained down from the stars, literally falling down from the stars, and they were completely able to be decimated from both sides as Dan uses his sword in order to fight against the ice creature. He became triumphant and he completely overpowered the ice creature and successfully able to destroy it. In doing so, some of the other alien races were liberated from the ice creature's mind control and stated to Dan that they were completely fighting against the ice creatures. They'll join forces with Dan in completely fighting against the ice creatures' enslavement and conquest from conquering other worlds and other civilizations, meaning that they'll have each other's aid and also back up. Dan was able to tell the inhabitants of the other alien races to join the Intergalactic Coalition in order to battle against their greatest enemy known as the ice creature, and also in taking on the Star Empire and the Shadow Empire by any and all means necessary. Dan realized that Warlord Power and Watermaster and the Ice Creature are becoming the greatest, most formidable enemies ever existed throughout sacred history, meaning that they could pose a magnificent threat to the rest of humankind, and that they will have to be effectively stopped by any and all means necessary. The members of the monsters were able to convene on the 1st of May, telling on the central headquarters, able to exactly monitor Warlord Power's operation, and as well as his big bad galactic plans for sole dominance of all planet Earth. Able to realize that the Warlord Power is on a very serious mission, and is willing to conquer all known worlds and own civilizations as by any means necessary. Dan exactly discovered that there's a different way in order to cripple Warlord's power operation, and as well as his plans by destroying the Shadow Empire Warlords and Commanders' factories on separate worlds, on separate fronts, which he led a group of alien rebels in order to attack the Shadow Empire Warlords, and Commanders' factory on the 2nd of May, which they were successfully able to do so, while the Light Witch led the Light Druids and the Light Witches and the Light Faithful on another different operation to attacking the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches on a dark space machine, while the Light Seeker also led a group of alien rebels to attack the Shadow Empire Warlords or Commanders on another factory that's off-world, while also the 4-Nation Hunter led a group of 4-Nation Hunter in order to fight against the monsters that come from the dark dimension, and to purposely vanquish them and sending them back straightly throughout the dark dimension by any and all means necessary. The operations were quite successful. Both operations were quite successful as the enemies were quite destroyed, as the Light Witch used her light magic and power to destroy the dark machine that the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches were quietly using, and the Dark Faithful were quietly using into extracting and harvesting all the shadow energy and all the magic energy. And the heroes became triumphant with their victories, and with their victories they were able to stop the enemy's process, as they were able to halt the enemy's extraction and harvesting of all shadow energy and magical energies and magical crystals with their sinister plans and also galactic plans as well. In doing so, Dan was quietly very happy and quietly successfully pleased, as they were able to turn the battle around, and they were able to successfully become victorious on both fronts, realizing that the enemy's operations had been successfully crippled, and they were able to catch one Shadow Empire Warlord who told them that Warlord Power is the one behind all this madness, and he's the one orchestrating it behind the scenes. He told the Shadow Empire Warlord in order to tell his master that he's coming for him, and he's going to purposely end his operation and his sinister plans for humanity and for the rest of sacred existence. The Shadow Empire Warlord was quickly able to teleport away, meaning Dan and the members of the Universal Monsters and the Mercenary Inhabitants completely celebrated their victories, and as well as their victories in liberating many worlds and many civilizations from the Shadow Empire Warlords and Commanders, as the Intergalactic Coalition was able. As the members of the Intergalactic Coalition were able to show up, stating that the Intergalactic Coalition was very quietly happy to see more members joining in, despite it becoming compromised and being sabotaged by their greatest new enemy, known as the New Little Magic. Dan exactly reassured the members of the Intergalactic Coalition that they will find the spy and the mole, and that was successfully able to take him down. On the 1st of May, the members of the Intergalactic Coalition halted held at a meeting, and as well as the member who was quietly held captive against his will also showed up in order to expose the spy and the compromised agent. And Dan and the members of the Monster Hero, the Universal Monster Heroes, were all quietly present as they were completely able to expose the spy and able to exactly tell the spy exactly what he did. The spy told him that the new neural magic is rising in power, and he will soon exactly rise in power as his new enlightening colleagues and his members of his ancient organization will exactly soon place their sole dominance and control of the Shadow Empire and over the known universe and over the rest of sacred existence, and the extermination of the supernaturals and of the aliens and of the humans will come to pass no matter what. The members of the Intergalactic Coalition exactly stated that they have to take him away and send him straightly into the Astral Prison to remain in custody. But despite this, Dan exactly told the members of the Intergalactic Coalition now they'll have to be very careful because now the Intergalactic Coalition is really shown to be compromised and still exists. It's still under the influence of the newly Nolo Magic and his ancient secret society of supervillains known as the Order of Power, which means that they'll have to do everything else in their power to take it down. Universal Man was able to congratulate Dan, the leader of the Universal Monster, by exposing a spy and by taking him down, meaning that they exactly did good work on the 5th of May, on the 5th of May, able to state that they exactly did good work, meaning that they'll need more heroes like you, and meaning that the Universal Man stated that they'll need more heroes like you in order to help them fight against a good fight and taking down the big bad guys and still trying to take down the new Order Magic and his new ancient secret society and taking down the Star Empire and also Red Bolt and also the founders, the Order of the Five, the Order of the Six, the Galactic, the Sacred Circle, Lord Shadowjack and Lord Power and Lord Winter King as well, and Lord Justin as well, meaning that they want to use every fiber every resource of every ability in order to take down their greatest enemy and destroying them once and for all, and putting a stop to their sinister plans and goals as well. And stated that Universal Man stated that the Monster Heroes are now the Universal Monster Heroes now. They are now the founding members of the Universal Heroes from now on out. They are now members of the Universal Heroes. And Dan was successfully happy and very completely happy. The Universal Monster Heroes were able to aid the Universal Earth Heroes in liberating many worlds and civilization from the newly Nova Magic's forces on the 15th of May, as their plan worked marvelously and brilliantly, as all the battle cruisers and warships were all decimated, and they took down the assassins, and they took down the power assassins and all the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Shadow Empire warlords, and they became victorious on the battle, and also very victorious on the battle, and the warships very victorious on the battle, as the Universal Earth Heroes and Universal Earthmen stated that they exactly did a good work in helping them taking down against their greatest foe and against their greatest enemy. They're successfully able to take down a couple of few villains into custody, sending them straightly into the Astral Prison, and some of them straightly into the Sacred Prison, and some of them straightly into the Dark Ark Prison. And Dan was quietly impressed that the Universal Monster Heroes have quietly did well on both fronts, and that the sacred universe will continue to be protected, and that its goal and mission will continue to be fulfilled no matter what, and that they're learning that the new Nova Magic and his new members of the organization and the Order of Power are still at large and are still exactly possess a greater magnificent threat to the rest of sacred existence and to the rest of the known universe and to the rest of humanity and to the supernatural community and to the alien community and as well to the superhuman community, meaning that they're going to use every available resources in order to take him down, and as well taking down the Star Empire and taking down Red Bolt and taking on the founders, the Order of the Five and the Order of the Six and the Order of the Seven and the Galactic and the Dark Order, and as well as the other sinister powerful threats such as Ghostmaster and the Shadow Empire Warlord's Commander. Despite this, guys, the Universal Monsters are led by Dan. Each member contributes their skill sets and their abilities and their talents and their expertise to the group. They are now the founding members of the Universal Heroes now. They've been working with the Universal Heroes for many, many years and still working with the United Heroes as well for many, many years. Dan is a great leader. He cares for the members of his team as well as he knows their past and he knows their history, and he quietly respects them and he quietly sees them as a family. They're like a group. They are like a huge family of superheroes that are quietly working together, and they are top secret covert team of superheroes known as the Universal Monsters that work in secret to protecting humanity and the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence from chaos, destruction, and also from the forces of evil and from the forces of darkness as well. Their greatest enemy and greatest threat is Warlord Power, the Ice Creature, the Universal Queen, Watermaster, the Dark Fates, and North Fate, and the Shadow Empire Warlord and Commander, Red Bolt, and the Dark Order, and the Star Empire, and the Shadow Empire, and also the Star Witch Queen, and the Star Prince, and the Dark Star as well. They are the greatest enemy, and Ganon's quietly learned from his enemies that they cannot be underestimated, as by fighting them and taking them down has been his top priority in saving the rest of existence and the rest of humanity, and also in aiding the Four Nation Hunters with their mission in destroying and vanquishing all the monsters that come from the Dark Dimension, in vanquishing and banishing the monsters that come from the Dark Dimension, and also aiding the Four Nation Hunters with their mission in saving humanity in secrecy, in destroying and decimating the monsters that come from the Dark Dimension by any and all means necessary. The Universal Monster Heroes believe in Dan as their great leader, as Dan possesses great leadership in leading the members of the Monster Heroes, and he leads them with great authority and with great love, as he views them as brothers and sisters in arms, as he quietly views the Universal Heroes and the United Heroes as family, as well as the Universal Earth Heroes and Universal Space Heroes, the Universal Defending Heroes, the World Heroes, the Intergalactic Coalition. He views them all as family, as they now high founding members of the Universal Heroes now. They are working together, and they are the allies of the Four Nation Hunter, which exactly aid them in their respective missions to destroying and banishing monsters that come from the Dark Dimension, which are being summoned by an unknown source of evil. Well, I will tell you about that unknown source of evil another day. But despite this, Dan is very caring and very respectful and very loving. He cares about the rest of humanity and the rest of sacred existence and the rest of sacred world and the rest of the supernaturals, aliens, and superhumans or superhumans of the sacred world. He quietly loves them, and he quietly will do whatever it takes to protect them and also to save them from any sinister threats and any foe. The Universal Monster Heroes' greatest enemy is Warlord Power, who's a high-ranking member of a secret organization known as the Order of Power that is founded and led by the New Neural Magic, with the goal of enslaving the rest of humanity and placing planet Earth under their sole control by any means necessary. Dan is willing to stop the ice creature, the Dark Fates, and Water Master with their sinister goals and with their plans from enslaving the rest of existence, and he's willing to exactly do whatever it takes to protect the rest of humanity by any and all means necessary. Dan leads the Universal Monsters with great authority, and he loves all of them, as he views them as brothers and sisters in arms, as comrades in arms, and he'll do whatever it takes to protect planet Earth from a sinister threats and from a powerful unknown force of evil by any and all means necessary. Well, guys, that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful, blessed evening and an afternoon. I will see you exactly tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. I'll see you exactly tomorrow. So stay happy and pursue your dreams, guys. Pursue your dreams, no matter what. Pursue them, no matter what. Don't give up. Have a wonderful day and have a beautiful, blessed evening and afternoon. See you tomorrow. Shop, shop. Shop, shop. Bye.